But all right, man, we'll go ahead. We'll jump into the next topic. So the next one, a couple weeks back, we were talking about proximity dating. And one of the biggest, I'll say, topics in, especially the dating space is, we'll see a lot of clips where females are like, hey, I want the rich guy. I need to get one of those. And, our pushback is always kind of like, man, you ain't got you broke. How you gonna get this? You're not even in the same like area, vicinity, So Stan, our researcher for the streets, he does found some clips and I thought they was pretty good because both of the like clips kind of broke down that most people line up with like people in their same areas and stuff. And it kind of ties into the first topic also because the first clip that you showed, Stan, and I'll play that one first, where they showed the couples and they were like, hey, I make 50,000, he makes 40,000, I make 200,000, they make 150. So it just showed like most people align with people that's like pretty similar to where they are.
And they going 50-50.
Yeah.
They going
they Nah, more and more of these clips, it is showing that people do need to kind of start embracing working with each other.
So is it safe to say, SJ, when a woman fight back and say like she's not going 50-50, that we can say, why? Are you broke?
Oh, absolutely. It's broke shit. It's broke. They're not financially literate. And it's like 3 or 4 items all together. So it's like they're broke, not financially literate. They just want to use you, and they self-centered because it's just like, think about it. If you have a family with somebody and they're more or less worried about themselves being self-centered instead of like paying down debt, putting in case of say like even the first story, it's just like, hey, if we were working together, something might happen. Our jobs ain't guaranteed. Even if you have a business, that's not guaranteed. Businesses go up and down. Hell, look at all the businesses that got put out because of like Amazon, Kmart, Radio Shack, Circuit City. So it's like these were Fortune 500 companies back in the day. So, it's just like if somebody ain't trying to build so y'all could like weather the storm, man, that's why I don't even touch those type of females. Go ahead, Stan.
So that third word would be financial liability.
Yeah, they're definitely, financial liability will work. Because I guess altogether, all of it pretty much rolls into them being self-centered. So it's just like, fuck the family, us being solvent and being able to weather the storm. It's just like, hey, I want what I want. All that shit could go down the drain. And I want half. So, yeah, so when I be breaking this stuff down, I hate these stories, how they have bad outcomes, but it is starting to show like, hey, you was pointing out, you work with somebody, you wouldn't be in this boat. That person that you was with, you show that loyalty and commitment to, they would weather the storm with you. Be like, hey, don't worry, I got this. But it's when stuff is one-sided, that's what we're starting to see. A lot of them getting that work out there when they getting evicted and shit. So, but I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna play this clip. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
I work for a gasket company.
Okay. I'm actually a social worker. How much do you make?
Around 35, 40 a year.
Around like 50.
I am a cloud engineer.
I am a cloud engineer.
How much do you make doing what you do?
120K.
120K a year. I'm a web designer.
I'm a graphic designer.
Oh my God. You guys are perfect together. How much do you make?
I make 60 grand a year.
Nice. What about you?
I make 44.
I'm a nurse.
I own a trucking company.
How much do you make?
I make about 110.
About 320,000 a year.
I'm a pharmacist. Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
What about you?
A pharmacist as well.
Oh, I love it. Are you guys a couple?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you meet doing pharmacy
Yes,
work?
we met in pharmacy school. So
How much do you make?
about like 100K, 110 a year, probably in that area.
What about you?
Yeah, same amount, yes. I'm a medical assistant. I work at a dermatology practice, private practice, and I make $19 an hour.
Nice. What about you?
I'm a consultant for supply chain commerce and roughly like 80,000.
Nice.
I'm the chief of staff for a DoD agency. Yeah.
I'm a government site lead for a DoD agency as well.
How much do you make?
I make $180,000 a year.
I make $125,000 a year.
I'm a chiropractor.
Chiropractor, okay.
I'm a cardiovascular perfusionist.
How much do you make?
I make 120,000. Yeah.
Nice.
I make 190.
So I'm a technician in the emergency department.
I do construction, siding, windows.
How much do you make?
I make about 25.
Yes.
Mine varies on overtime, so I make anywhere from like 60, 70 with overtime.
I'm a teacher. What kind of teacher?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. Love it.
I'm a TV news producer.
How much do you make?
I make 54.
I make 39K.
I'm a registered nurse.
Also a registered nurse.
Do you mind sharing how much y'all make in your roles?
110K.
Yeah, I'd say like anywhere from 90 to 100.
I'm a consultant, data scientist.
Nice. Okay. What about you?
I'm an event coordinator.
Love it. How much do you make?
I make about 80.
Nice.
I make 70.
I'm a job coordinator for a quartz countertop business.
Cool.
I schedule installs and do quotes.
Nice. And how much do you make in your role?
I make just under $20 an hour, like $19.95 an hour.
What about you?
I work at an art gallery, and I'm a gallery assistant.
And how much do you make in your role?
I make $35,000 a year.
I'm a psychotherapist.
I'm a pipe fitter.
How much do you make?
Since I'm private practice, I actually make significantly more than I would in like a community mental health center or nonprofit. So I'd say roughly around 80,000 a year.
About 90,000.
I'm a gasket.
Yeah, I like that clip, man. I like how it captured.
Yeah.
And you
a
see
lot of-
they happy, they together. And notice, ladies, they weren't all 6 foot and they weren't all making 6 figures, but them ladies were getting 6 inches. This and that.
The truck driver, right? Who's also a owner operator, right? Because for him to be making like $290,000 a year, he owns his own truck. He has his own business. So he's just downplaying like what he actually does. But as a CDL driver, when you make that amount, most likely you got your own truck. And I forgot where they're at, but anywhere except for California, it's easy for you to purchase like a large semi, like one of those
Why it's up for us? Like, what goes on in California?
So California has this dumbass thing, right, where you're required to have it's a certain type of gadget, right, within the truck, because my cousins, all of them are owner operators.
Yeah.
So they're successfully well-to-do. Unfortunately, I should have been out there where they was at, but it was hard for them to try to find a truck that was at least like 10 grand, or let alone like maybe under 50 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Because that one little part that's required by the state of California, that bumps up to like $200,000, $300,000 more.
Damn.
So when you're looking for a truck, because my cousins was trying to help me to find a truck, right, so I could try to get into that business, but California, their truck went from like $400,000 to like $800,000, and we're talking about like used type of trucks that has extra miles into it. And then there's other fees and taxes that you have to pay on into it, along with gas as well too. So
yeah, that gas ain't no joke for them trips.
So yeah, California's a dream killer. But yeah, go to Atlanta.
But nah, definitely on that clip, man. I liked it because I like what Stan pointed out. It's just like, man, you had all different types. You had black, white, Asian. Then you had different job categories, pharmacists. You had clerical people.
They met in school too. They met in school.
Yeah, I saw that too.
They're like, oh, see?
Yeah, and it shows, man. There's people, and that's why I always try to give, my side. Because, when I first came into the space, man, there was a lot of people doing the provider stuff, and I have no issue with it. But their whole thing was like, oh, if a woman works, she's masculine. I'm like, man, all women are like that. There's a lot of submissive women at work that are cool with working with you. So I try to give some pushback on that whole narrative, because it's like, nah, get somebody. A lot of times it is proximity and stuff. It is like Stan was saying, you go to school, find somebody, man, like get in early and get the right person, man. They ain't gonna be worried about like even some of the females, they made more than them guys. They wasn't tripping about it. Shoot, that lady was holding that baby. She was like, look, I make 190, you know, family oriented. So yeah, it shows you can multitask and still be feminine, still work with your man. You ain't got to down him if you. So yeah, it's good to see clips like that because it fights back against all those narratives and shit.
Yeah, I think unfortunately a lot of people put so much pressure on themselves, thinking that their careers is not good enough or they're not going to really get the most like, you know, quality type of woman. But there are someone that's out there that, you know, are making like the six figures, or even if you're not even up there yet, there's going to be someone that's going to like be willing to still like accept you for who you are, as long as like, you know, you're still able to be the man that you're able to be and still like, you know, elevate yourself. So not everybody has like a great head start in life when it comes to their financial attributes, but that should not hinder you from actually meeting and talking to quality women. Because who knows, maybe that person that works in the HR department could actually get you into like where she's at. It may not be HR, but it might be somewhere else though.
I don't want to do that because you can't romance with the HR.
So they might holler.
No, I'm
Okay.
saying like
Yeah.
it's gonna bite you. It's gonna bite you because like if they found out there was an
No.
inside job for you to get the job, especially the HR, it's not gonna be good for both of you guys.
Okay. Well, let me put it this way, right? In a tech company, because I know a guy who is in that type of department. He's a recruiter. But all I need is really pretty much the basic skills to get hired.
Yes.
If I had those basic skills, well, actually, I'm waiting until I, you know, get my 10-year mark or whatever at my current job. But once I get my lifestyle, dental, medical, or whatever, my benefits, and let's say I want to do like get into the tech field, to triple my money, all I need to do is just go in, learn the basic stuff, go through the hiring process, right? He could put my foot in the door, and with a snap of the finger, right? Probably because he's white or whatever, or you know where he's at, he could bump my salary up.
No, that's different, right? He's something up, but say if it was a woman and you was dating her, it's bad at the job. It's you know.
Yeah, it definitely brings a different dynamic.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're talking about.
But I mean, you know, even maybe she might have connects because, you know, a lot of times people would work at different industries. So she might be able to put you on at a place where she ain't at. Be like, look, I know so-and-so that work at HR over there. Like, they can get you in over here. So you ain't fucking up my bread over here.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it. Cause, Yeah, because other women in the office will find out, and it's
Yeah, people will gossip and stuff, but yeah. Well, there's one more clip, so let me pull that one up. So the lady in this one, she kind of breaks down like how she found her husband, and she was kind of throwing some shots at the females. I like this clip. She was like, "Look, let me break it down to y'all why I ain't got no rich guy." So and how I found mine. So she stunts a little bit.
Shouts to the rich Asians.
Surprising number of DMs about how I found a rich husband, which goes against everything that I preach about financial independence. But let's humor the question. The answer is proximity. Proximity is the number one determinant of your wealth. Starts early. If you're born into a rich family, you're almost certainly going to be rich yourself. But throughout points in your life, you'll actually get to choose your proximity as well. For example, you want to date someone with an Ivy League degree. That's 0.6% of the US population. Good luck. But if you go to an Ivy League college and want to date someone with an Ivy League degree, your odds of doing that are nearly 100% subject to your riz. Same thing with money. If you work in an industry that is known for being high paying, you will likely run in circles with other people who have high paying jobs. Before I met my wonderful husband, I largely dated other people who had high net worths, not because I sought them out, but because they largely worked in finance. That was the network I had access to, my proximity. TLDR, it's much easier to find a rich and successful partner when you yourself are rich and successful. Focus on the main plot line and the rest of the story comes together.
But you know that sound like for a lot of women, they don't want to hear it. It starts with a W, ends with a K. Work.
To me, she sounds like a sophisticated gold digger, but at the same time, I mean, it sounded like she was also like a goal getter as well too, and her goal was to definitely make sure she secured that bag.
Like, what she said, like they work. That's what she went to school where they had that. You know, that's all I gotta say. There was another one I sent you too. Was the guy, the brother was talking about rich people, how you will.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can play that one, but that one he explained it. Like
I'll probably save that for another one.
for another one, yeah, because well, that one was pretty good too. Because like like everybody wants to date somebody rich, but you're not really willing to sacrifice. Because like, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna get Wally in there. So Wally, you think she had some truth to what she was saying, or she off base?
Regards to proximity.
Yeah.
I mean, look, she was hitting points because I mean, you got to think about it. It's like she ain't lying. Where you are and where you trying to be and who you're trying to fit with, those are usually the key signs of where you're trying to hit at. I mean, it's just the obvious. If you're trying to get someone that's well paid, you're gonna be more likely finding these people where in college because they're trying to get into that. But at least those people that are actually trying to lock in with their degrees, not the ones that just get one and then magically end up somewhere else on the sidelines for whatever reasons. But yeah, but usually that is the big case and move. Who you're around, you know how they always say it's like pretty much just look at where your circumstances are. Where your circumstances are tells you everything. And if you're there, you're gonna find out who you're gonna be around. So what that tells you, move, get to a new location. And pretty much that's what she did.
So Wallace, that's why you the king of Brickell.
Hey, I ain't that thing. Don't say that on me. I ain't that thing. Don't say that on me. If I was in Brickell, I wouldn't be here right now.
But no, I do love that clip, man, because it's funny because like I said, when I was like first came on, I was jumping on panels, man. And I was getting so much pushback. And I'm like, you know, I was talking to Manic. I'm like, man, what the hell is wrong? And it took us a while to figure out that, you know, we was in different circles with women that like were career oriented, still had families, like I said, that was feminine. So a lot of the people on the panels, it was like, oh, okay, you might not be running into these type of women and shit. Yeah, so you know, it took a while for the because I was like, what the hell are y'all? Because you know, every person, like I said, we used to get in numerous debates, was like, oh, no woman would do 50-50. I'm like, man, every female I work with, like, you know, invest with their husband, chip in on bills, they're financially literate. So my wife, she was like, pointed out to me, I was like, damn, is it like a lot of women don't work with guys? She was like, nah. She was like, shit, because she worked in the healthcare industry. She's like, nah, doctors. She was like, they be marrying the directors and stuff. Like a lot of them are aligned. So yeah, we went to one of her functions and yeah, a physician would be with like a MD or the CFO and stuff. So yeah, a lot of times like people that got their stuff together, they end up pairing up because of the, like y'all saying, the proximity, man. So yeah, I think a lot.
We like to think that the world is a small place, but reality is not that small as we think it is.
Yeah.
You know, when I mentioned sacrifice, right? Those women that was on those panels, right? When I say sacrifice is, and also for guys too, right? Like, but more for the women. When you're dealing with somebody who is like, who's the guy on Shark Tank? Give me the name. One of the guys on Shark Tank.
The black ball dude.
Anybody?
Mark Cuban.
Okay, if you're dating Mark Cuban, what you're not gonna do is show him that you got a Birkin bag. He gonna see you as what? A liability. You gotta know how you make your money. He's gonna ask you what you do with your money. Cause those guys, when they see that, they looking at that stuff. Like, I don't think people realize, like, the people that you meet at the club that smash and got you there is not the real rich people that you meet in real life that you actually passing up by chasing, you know, the flashy guys. Because you do have to, like, Miami is a big example of that. Florida and also California. Where we're at, yeah, we see rich people all the time. Rich people don't want you to ask them for money or ask them for loans. They want to hear about your problems like that. And they don't want you in their pockets, but they will treat you. They know they ain't got it, but you're going to get a nice trip to Hawaii, fully paid, going first class. Don't ruin it with your tackiness. That's all I got to say.
Right.
And if they take you on dates, just know it's not a date. It's a feeding. It's probably a tax write-off.
But Stan, you got a good point, man, because that's why I be trying to tell people too, because a lot of times you hear some of the females and they're like, yeah, I want this and this. And then you could just, I'm like, the guy that got his shit together don't want y'all. Like, because even when I'm telling people, I was like, man, I like chicks with money, man. And they be confused because it's a mindset thing. You want somebody that understands like the path you took, that's going to be appreciative of it. That ain't going to try to like you were saying, Stan, like roll up with the Birkin bags and you got bad spending habits. Because rich people, one thing that people don't understand, like they like keeping their money. So I know we see these like small clips with like dudes tricking, but that's not the norm. Typically, people that have money, man, they want somebody that's like similar minded.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
I throw this right here to you, right? Because there's another podcast. I forgot his name, but I know he's one of the more popular podcasts on more of the conversational, discussion, like wealth type talks. And he had a guest on there, right? And he was like, what's the difference between like someone that is like rich and wealthy versus the regular person that's trying to act as being rich and wealthy, right? And the guest was a female Asian. She was like, see, when when you meet a true rich and wealthy person, when they just don't give a rat's ass how you perceive them. They can be coming in with a regular ass t-shirt or one of these regular sweaters and stuff like that, and you be like, what? But then they be the ones dropping like 50% tips, as long as is the waiter is good, do the right job and all that, and they do all that, and because they can and they can do whatever they please, but they don't care how you perceive them as far as what they're wearing, because that's just a good telltale sign of being able to dodge these clowns that try to perceive what clothing or what it means to be rich because of clothing or whatever like that. Versus some noob that never been here before and is trying to flaunt money just to say he has it and to live the image of it, but you never are who you say you are. And I was like, that's sure.
Well, most rich people, right? They don't want people to know like they have like a lot of money. They want to like disguise themselves as like regular folks. It's the ones that are fake rich that wants to prove to everyone in the world like how much money they have, which they really don't have it like that. And it's like you have the peacocks, the flamboyant kinds. So that, okay, you probably have some sort of income where you could still flaunt, but you really don't have it like that as opposed to the person who is pretty much like financially well-to-do, where he continues to sleep and money keeps producing at a rapid pace.
Yes, because guess what? That money been, even before he was born, that money been building. Yeah. Like those wealthy people, it's something else, man. It's a whole, like I remember one time I had a friend, he's a sheik, and he's like, what do you buy your clothes? I was like, sometimes people go to the store or they get it delivered. He's like, they don't come to you? I'm like, no, don't come to me.
But you'd be surprised, man. Most, I say millionaires, I think, are self-made now. I know that old school money. Yeah, definitely that was passed down. But
yeah, and also how they treat their children. Like, because SJ, you and M3 talk about like when people marry off and they just like decide to go on the way, and the parents, yes, will cut them off, right? But they'll give the kids a chance, like their grandkids, by paying the college education. And they'll get a little bit of money, but they cover the health care for the kids. Because, like, your parents will fuck up. I'll take care of you, but this all you getting. And then it has to, like, so that family lineage go back online and, like, line up. Because there's, like, those wealthy people, like, they're pretty much on it, like making sure, like, generation, when you come back, okay, you did well in your education, here's money you deposit for a house. They put trust together, and they're able to track down the family, and they let stuff like this, what you can do, this what you can't do. So if you're coming in here thinking you're gonna be Meghan Markle or run stuff with somebody who's rich, and there's a whole generation of ancestors that are rich, that ain't gonna happen. I don't know what Disney fairy tale you thought that she was their equal. That is not real. Don't do it.
Yeah, no, I think
guys here, we SJ, know the real rich New Yorkers. NDC. M3, California and Texas. Wally, me and Wally, Florida. And we got rich people who did it legally and rich people who did it illegally.
So the cocaine cowboys and stuff down there. But nah, like I just don't think people realize, like, man, the importance, and that's why I emphasize it, because it's like, man, like you need to get somebody that understand that sacrifice that you did to get where you at. Because one thing I can say about my wife, she cheap as hell too. Like, you need that, because nah, man, in order to like get ahead. I mean, I know y'all seen that post that was like going around on Instagram, and it showed like all those like ultra wealthy dudes that like the guy that founded KFC, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, like, man, they didn't get ultra wealthy until like later years and stuff, but they put all that sacrifice in. So, you know, of course, now that we see them, we're like, damn, they must have been rich all that time. But it's like, no, it happened in their later years, and the sacrifices it took to get to that point for all of them. It's just like,
yeah, because most of them, like most people are getting wealthy like past like 35 and up.
Yeah, it
Most
was
of them that point. So it's like a lot of it is never going to be seen like that.
And to all the Marcus Jordan world, y'all better stop it. Up here trying to spend your daddy money, you got access to it.
yeah, I would have cut that kid off so quick.
See,
he would got cut.
Yeah, but my thing is, because you know, this is the thing, right? Because like, let's say even like from a standpoint, like just like looking at just like from a kid standpoint, because I would even think at this time and age, knowing like where the market is right now for the world, is like, honestly, man, the idea of these kids just staying kids, like nah, I wouldn't even let that even be the case right now. It's like, shit, get these kids to figure out something for themselves, like now versus later. Get them in that mindset.
Yeah, you gotta make sure that you create that hunger, man. Because even with me, I was like, I'm not gonna pay for no school, so maybe on the back end, like I'm gonna put some money down towards like house, paying out debt. But it's like you gotta find your way. Like if you don't go my route, you ain't getting no money. And even like if I did pay for school, it would be like, you know, say for like grandkids, I left something in the trust. It'd be like, man, if you don't go into like, you know, these fields like STEM, medical, it's like I ain't even gonna give you no money, because I'll be damned if you go for some dumbass degree and just blowing money. Like you'll get left behind. So
if you go for a dumbass degree, just flip that and say, look, well, honestly, I just hope. Like, that's the thing. Like, I be thinking to myself, like, okay, you went for a dummy degree, and I said to myself, wait, how much did you spend? Because I'd have been like, man, screw that. You may as well have just did something for yourself and just like build something. If you're gonna waste your time doing that, you know you didn't want to do that in the first place. Just go build something.
Well, you know, think about it. Like a lot of people went to college either because their college is sometimes the 13th grade. I believe in going to work and going to school. Community college provided that. University, I had to fight for it because I was like, look, I have a job. Why your class at 3:00? Like, why is your class not early in the morning or late at night? We're adults here, because this makes no sense for a class to be at 1:20. Like, this upper division is, you know, like, yo, like, people need to graduate, but we need to get paid. This is San Francisco. You don't have this luxury of living on student aid. This is craziness, right? That's why a lot of people got these $400,000 student aid loans.
that shit's so crazy.
Right? And then their degree is not equaling up to 40. And then you're looking at the universities and colleges, and I sent you guys some articles like people not going to school. So now they got to cut off those useless degrees. So people want degrees that equals to jobs. So, you know, that's where the world's going at right now.
Yeah, I found a post, the one I was talking about.
Yep. And like you develop a trust where the kids don't have access to it. The grandkids don't, like Michael Jackson did it, so his kids don't get access to that money. They only get access to a little bit. And then
You gotta space it out.
Yeah, they're like, his son's like, we don't get access to that money, we gotta work.
But yeah, look at these ages on here. This is the age they started. So Henry Ford, 40, Real Talk with Kim, 41. Kristen Dior, 41. Sam Walton, 44. Bob Parsons, 47. Adi Dassler, Adidas, 48. Bernie Marcus, Home Depot, 49. Harlan Sanders, 62. Bill Porter, 63. So yeah, I like. But yeah, it just shows, man, it happens later in life. So yeah, you know, man, that's why you gotta get that person, man, that don't burn you out and try to, you know, get you to expend all your money before you even could get there. Because I see that happen a lot.
Liabilities. Don't do no liabilities.
But females, so if y'all saying like y'all can't find no rich guys, it's a good indicator that your ass is broke. And you ain't in the right circles, you ain't in the right groups. So you got to readjust. You better get that person you align with.
Right, it definitely for sure. You know, I definitely agree.
Yeah, can't do 50-50, you broke. Try to spend all my money, you broke. I think that's a song right there.
Well, that's what the one lady was like. Look, man, like if you in the right circles and both those clips showed, it was like, hey, people out there working, man, and they finding they people. So
I mean, this is as simple as it gets. Like, look, if you're in this state and you encounter someone that talks about, oh, I want somebody to provide, you gotta remind them, look, what state are you in right now? Oh, you're in California? Well, in California, 50, matter of fact, 50-50 is law, okay, with me. So
it's looking like anywhere now. Shoot, these chicks in a state of emergency.
50-50 been lost since the 90s when I was a kid. Everybody was going 50-50 when I was coming up. White people graduated from Stanford was doing 50-50 in relationships. Everybody was doing it. You were from India, you was doing 50-50. You one of them like international students got married 50-50. Everybody in California have been doing 50-50 for 3 decades. Ain't nobody
cities, I don't see how people can't even. I be laughing when I be hearing this stuff. I'm like, man, where y'all live at in that city? Because
even what's that rich part of San Francisco? Presidio. Like even there, them couples are going 50-50. We're like renting a 2-bedroom house is $10,000 a month. And they're going 50-50 in a relationship.
Hey, you have to go 50-50. You're going to spend something like that.
But they're rich, right? They're rich. And people acting like rich people want to sit down and want to sponsor you. Stop acting like a damn furry. You're a full human being. Please go get a job.